Welcome to the Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Scott Nerney. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this material. If you remember from a prior engagement with us, Nick Albanese is back. Welcome back to the Spotlight Series.
Thank you for having me back.
The last time we chatted,
Yeah.
you were making a movie and
Yes.
almost coming out with a movie.
Yep.
So for those who may have not seen the information before, give a little background of yourself before we talk about it.
I'm a Rhode Islander, born and raised here in Providence, Rhode Island. Been like acting since I was in the backyard with friends since I can remember, and I went to theater major, and I just been since college nonstop just acting, and I started writing. Done a lot of stuff that's been coming into Rhode Island over the years. Did a lot of extra work. Then I finally got some speaking roles. And then I started doing my own thing. Started doing my own projects, short films. Wrote a lot of plays. And then finally I worked my way up to making a feature film.
Well, if you write it and produce it and direct it and do everything yourself,
yeah,
you've got your vision coming out.
Exactly.
And nobody can say no to you, right?
Exactly, and that's another reason. Another interview I recently did, I talked about how when these huge Hollywood productions come in, which is great, and I'm not dogging it. It's like it brings a lot of money into the economy for the catering and restaurants and hotels, transport.
Sure.
And people that like to do extra work, because a lot of times it's mostly extra work. And they cast it L.A., California, New York. It's already cast, and once in a while you get lucky. There's like a little bit part you can do, speaking role, but most of the time it's not. It's such a competitive thing. So years ago I decided, I want to just do my own thing, and now it's even better now because the last 5 years so much has changed with the internet, and you have all these streamers. Everything's streaming now. It's easier to get your stuff out there.
Yeah. Not that you turned down $42 million to do a film.
Oh no, I'm not.
So if somebody's out there listening, thinking,
if they came along and they saw something I was in and said, I'll definitely do it. I'd be an idiot not to do it. But what's the chance? It's like winning the lottery, though.
Yeah, well, somebody wins.
So while waiting for the lottery, I'm printing my own money.
Sure.
That's the way I look at it.
So let's talk about your production, Charles Street.
Yes. It's my first feature. Like I said, I'm not acting in it, which that's my first love is acting. I decided, you know what? I'm going to write this, and I'm going to direct it. I wanted to have that experience of just being a director, and produced it. And like I mentioned last time, I had Don Miller from New York and Bob Maneri as my executive producers. They both gave me money, and Bob's in the movie as well. And so let me try it out. And I did it during October of 2023 now it's been. And that was during the strike. Remember the actor strike, the writer strike? And so the crew, were these guys sitting at home. They usually work on real professional sets, and they were just sitting home doing nothing. And Colin, I called him. I got him through certain other people, and he should make a really good rate a day. This guy is a pro.
Yeah.
But he gave me a good deal, and he got his friends that help out on sets to come along. So my whole budget should have went to the crew, but luckily they gave me a deal because they weren't working anyway, and they wanted to do something. They were going stir crazy at home, and so I got to pay them a little bit. I got to pay the actors, and most of it went to food because you got to have everybody. You can't have angry crew and actors on the set because it's not going to work. And so that's what happened, and we filmed it. But it was 3 months of planning before that one day. That first day of filming, 3 months of planning.
And how long did it take you to film it from start to finish?
We filmed in 7 days.
7 days.
That's why I had to plan for 3 months.
Yeah.
All the locations, the whole schedule of the shoot, the food, everything. Like what day, what actor was coming. It was a lot of work.
So tell us a little premise about the story.
Well, it's about a character, Nick Alba, played by my friend Vinny Velez from New York, and I worked with him in projects, and that's how we met. I did some stuff with him in New York City, upstate New York, and he plays Nick Alba, loosely based on me, and he plays a guy who's a screenwriter, actor, and He made a movie years ago in Providence, and he's come back home to make a new movie, like to write a new movie. He wanted inspiration to write this new movie, and he sees an old pal of his, like that neighborhood wise guy, hanging out, and he's just strikes up a friendship with him again, and he had Richie Romano, the wise guy played by Savino Laquali, good friend of mine, and he has a daughter who wants to be an actress, so she confides into Nick, and he realizes that her dad's still a criminal, and he wants to get her out of Providence, maybe to New York, to pursue her dreams. And at the same time, the feds are watching, so now the feds grab Nick, and they want to use him to get Richie. So he's caught between, his friend and the feds. So that's the basic plot of it. It's all fictional. It's just a fictional story I made up.
Sure it is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Let's take a quick look.
Are you Mickey Hollywood?
But Nick Albanese here, he made that North End movie.
And I saw Richie Romano there.
Richie Romano.
Oh, him? He's a bum.
My dad tells me you're in town writing something new.
Come on down. You say you need a story. Maybe I have a story for you.
Did you go into the back room with Richie?
What?
Richie's back room. You know about it, right?
Stay away from my friends. Stay away from me. And stay the away from my daughter. Do you understand? Rebecca, I love you.
Oh, oh.
Lots of problems you have when you're beautiful and charming, right?
Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to get into acting.
That room that he is with his boys all day long. You have no idea what he's actually doing back there? I never should have come home. I really hate it when you call me Mr. Hollywood.
That's good. You see, a trip back home is what you needed to get things flowing again.
I guess you got wrong about a lot of things, Hollywood.
So I got to tell you a couple things that when I watched the movie that that stood out to me. The guy playing Richie is a prototypical gangster, mafia, like low-level kind of guy that's you don't know really. Is he good? Is he bad?
Yeah,
like, there's a whole.
You kind of like him.
Yeah, there's a whole separate story with him.
Yes.
And then I actually had to rewind it at one point when I got to the end to see if the girl who plays the FBI agent is really the same girl that was in the bar, because she totally changed between the hairstyle and the mannerisms.
Yeah, well, that's a little surprise. I wanted to, I wanted to surprise everybody. So.
Yeah, it was good. And when you mention taking care of the crew and the food, one would think if you're shooting in a bakery, no spoilers here, they're shooting in a bakery and a bar.
Yeah.
You'd think the crew could be taken care of pretty easily there, but
Yeah.
all carbs and alcohol isn't going to work.
Well, you guys came down and did a little video. If you go to the YouTube channel, right, you'll see a little behind the scenes when we were filming at the bakery. And that Carmine Borelli at Borelli's Bakery, and he took care of us. The 2 days we were there, I had everybody write down what they're going to take. We could take what we wanted to eat, and I had a whole list. And I went over to Carmine, a couple weeks later after we were done filming, and I said, "Oh, here's what we took. What do I owe you?" And he ripped it up, and he says, "No problem, all set."
Wow.
So I'm like, wow, the generosity that people gave us to let us use their place, gave us food. Batola on Rolfe Square. Another day, my biggest day at Pub on Park, where we were filming. I had so many actors there and so many crew, it was, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 people. That was the most we had in one. And Batola donated pizza to us. I just asked for like a dozen pizzas. He sent over 15 pizzas, salads, desserts, for nothing. So at the end, at the credits, if you know what I gave a lot of credit to these people. Without them, it's just amazing the support. It just blows me away.
So now that we've enticed everybody about Charles Street, let's talk about where people can see it.
Well, as you know, last year I did the premiere at the Avon and the GAM. And then finally, through a distributor called Film Hub that helps out guys at my level, we got it onto Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Prime Video. And we got on one more, a newer up-and-coming app called Filmzy. Filmzie.
Okay.
And they're kind of like Tubi. You watch it, you got to watch the commercials, Or if you don't want to watch commercials, just go to Prime Video. You can rent it for $2.99.
Nice.
Like a lot of people that message me, they've been messaging me from all over the country that used to live on Charles Street. They're all buying it, because
Nice.
it's just they see the old neighborhood. It
Yeah,
just brings
yeah.
like a lot of sentimental to them. One buddy of mine, there's a shot at the end. If you remember the FBI, the last shot, they're talking to Nick, and there's a White House behind them. My friend that used to live there. He's like, wow, man, I can't believe I saw my old house. Like I grew up.
Well, and it's difficult when people move that far away.
Yeah,
that,
he's down in Georgia. So.
Yeah, you don't see the old neighborhood or some of the things that I remember that guy's as they walk out, that guy's what happened to that building over there? It used to be such and such. Yeah, we've had some of that with the Farrelly brothers, and other people do things, but they're quick shots. They're not someone's neighborhood often.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Nice.
That's what's really cool, getting those messages and people really just appreciating it and just brings back memories for them.
Yeah.
And so so Prime Video is great. It's exciting to get on there and like Filmsy, and there may be another one. I'm still waiting on my profile of the distributor. One called Fawsome. It's a wordplay on awesome.
Yeah.
And they put an F in front of it. Fawsome. So I'm thinking, will they go and play golf?
Yeah.
A fawsome when you play golf?
Right.
So it's not on there yet, but maybe eventually it will be. And that's another startup app.
Okay.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
The distributor pitches to like 50 apps and or streaming services. And I go on the list to look at them. Half of them I never even heard of. There's so many.
And it's a benefit sometimes where it's people that might not be in the country that want to watch it.
Yeah.
There's different things you can watch in different countries.
Exactly. So. Yeah. The Fawsome, I think, is a foreign company.
Nice.
So, it's really cool. That's what's really cool. The last 5 years, so much has changed that, guys at my level now can get stuff out there for the world to see. And it makes it exciting.
Yeah. Cool. And let's talk a little bit about what's keeping you busy now.
Now, I'm writing a new script. It's different from Charles Street. It's more like more of a kind of like a romantic comedy, I guess you can call it. It's gonna be like I'm kind of writing it as a mockumentary. For people who don't know mockumentary, it's like supposed to be you're watching a documentary, but it's not real. And it's all about these different type of characters in the different phases of their life and relationships, like the divorced guy, the new couple that just met, the couple that's been married 40 years, but somehow they all know each other. So it's like Rhode Island. It's a little play on Rhode Island and how they're all connected.
You think you might want to direct that one as well?
I think I want to direct it, maybe have a co-director with me, because I want to definitely be in this one.
Okay.
Because I was so jealous last time, watching everybody act as I was directing. I was like, I want to be in the movie too, man.
You got to be like some of these directors who just have a little bit part of themselves. Like Stephen King or Alfred
I'm thinking bigger, like Ed Burns, who does a lot of independent film.
Yeah.
He's in them and he directs them. Woody Allen's another guy.
Yeah.
He directs them and he's in every movie he pretty much makes. There's a few of them that do that. It's kind of hard. You got to have I've done it before with short films, but not really with a feature. But you definitely need that other pair of eyes to help you.
Yeah.
An assistant. Right.
Well, if you need someone with a good profile on this side, my age, just give me a call.
All right, I'll call your agent.
Yeah. Nah, just call direct. It's okay. So let's talk about a podcast I understand you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast now with my friend Joe Petrucci. He's an actor, comedian, and he played Shy Sal.
Okay.
He plays Shy
Doesn't
Sal
talk
on Charles
much.
Street. Yeah, doesn't talk much. He's very shy. And on the podcast, he's not shy. You can't get him to shut up. No. But it's the Albanese and Joe podcast.
Okay.
And people are like, why did you come up with that name? And I don't know, Joe kind of thought of it, because he goes, people, when they ask for you, they think I'm always with them. They're like, where's Albanese? So Albanese, and then I say, well, we can't have two last names. It'd be too long. Albanese Petrucci podcast. So he said, how about the Albanese Joe podcast? I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And we're at this point, about 12 episodes in.
Okay.
We release it every week. And just me and him kind of like BSing, like how we would sit at a restaurant and just talk to each other about certain topics of the day. And
those are the most real ones.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. We have like a little point list like of things that we want to talk about, but sometimes we just go off and totally talk about something else. And we want to start getting guests. That's one of our goals. I'm going to start getting, not every episode, maybe like once a month, have like a guest come on, just to change it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's always fun when you kind of educate people by accident, is what I call it.
Yeah.
Someone's watching something to be entertained and they learn something by accident.
Yeah.
To me, that's the star of the interview is that nugget that happens.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna learn with us. We're just two goofballs.
That's okay though. Yeah, I mean, is it like a style like on the way to work, making dinner, like a short? How long are they typically?
They're about a half hour.
That's great.
Yeah, about a half hour.
Yeah.
A lot of people they say they listen to us in the car
Yeah.
as they're driving or if they're doing something like that. So.
Especially driving around Rhode Island, hitting a pothole, it helps
Yeah.
to have somebody
Oh,
to
you're
swear
stuck on
at.
the bridge?
Yeah, oh,
You're
yeah.
stuck at least a half hour on the bridge.
Construction, yeah.
You listen to the whole episode.
Yep. Or, one car on the side of the road who was left last night.
Yeah.
Everybody stops for 20 minutes
Yeah,
to look at
exactly.
it.
And you wonder what happened. Why is everybody slowing down? So, yeah, this is the kind of stuff we talk about, too. And we're on YouTube, and we're on Spotify and Apple. And
Okay.
my son, who's 15 years old, Santino, shout out to Santino, he edits the podcast for me. He did the trailer for the
Nice.
film. He's getting really technical and like really good at that stuff. So.
Is he going to go to school for it, or?
I don't know. I don't think he even needs to.
Yeah.
He's so good at it already. But it's up to him. He wants to do it. I always tell him, stay with that. Stay with the technical. You'll always have a job.
Yes.
You'll make money. Don't be an artist like your dad. You're going to be broke all the time. So that's how it is.
So apart from the podcast and doing some writing, what's next after that? Like, what's on the long-term horizon? Or what's on the bucket list?
Yeah, probably I just to keep making films. Tarantino started back in the 90s as a young man, and he said, I'm going to make 10 movies and retire, or not make movies anymore. And he's got one more to go to hit his 10. I started so much later that I always say, I'm gonna make 5 movies and retire. So I got 4 more to go.
Okay.
So
That's all right.
yeah,
I mean, that's a good
goal.
short-term goal, yeah.
And I'm doing stand-up again. I did stand-up for a whole decade back, 05 to 15. And I kind of started getting back into that. And it's time to do some shows again.
Nice.
And I don't know when this will air, but I am doing the show June 21st at the Artist Exchange in Cranston.
Okay,
Rhode Island
yeah.
Square.
Right nice.
Right next to Bitola, my favorite
Yeah.
pizza place.
So let's kind of recap. So Charles Street on Amazon Prime,
Yep.
on Filmsy,
Filmsy.
potentially Fawsome.
Awesome.
Shout out to those guys
Yeah.
if they're listening or watching.
Or from
They
wherever you
definitely
are.
want to get it.
Yeah.
Yep. And the podcast, Albanese and Joe,
The Albanese
on
Joe.
all the major networks, Spotify,
Yeah.
Apple,
Yeah.
the major ones.
Yeah,
You can
YouTube.
Find it, YouTube. And then movie in the works,
Yeah.
writing. A son that's a star already behind the camera and editing.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah.
I can't complain. And it's cool to be doing the stand-up again. I kind
Yeah.
of get a lot of stuff off my chest, as I do stand-up.
Well, and there's probably a few directorial tidbits that you find in the audience while you're there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's another script you could write.
Yeah. And there's been a few movies about comedians, but it's a tough. The few that have last come out in the few years haven't really done that well. I don't think they know how to portray it the right way.
Maybe
So,
it's
yeah,
a
there's something to work
comedian
on.
that's really bad
Yeah.
and how the audience
Well, they
takes
had the
it.
King of Comedy back in the 80s. Remember
Yeah.
that one with De Niro?
Yeah.
He kidnapped Jerry Lewis.
All right. Well, we wish you a lot of luck. Keep us in mind when you
Yeah.
get to that stardom level.
No, I appreciate you guys. The Rhode Island Wave has always been so supportive and really there for me.
And if
It's
we
awesome.
hear from a director out there or producer or group that wants to do 42 million,
Yeah.
we'll send them your way.
Yeah, or if they want to invest in the movie.
Absolutely. There you go. What's a shout out to your website before we forget?
Well, I don't have really a website. I'm just on social media, Facebook. You can find me and Instagram. And,
Okay.
I have a YouTube page, and the podcast has a YouTube page and a TikTok page.
All
So
right.
we're all over the place.
All right. Albanese and Joe, Nick Albanese. Take a look. Amazon Prime. Everywhere for Joe. We'll let him on sometime.
Yeah. Joe Petrucci, yeah. And he's on social media as well.
Great.
So.
Fantastic. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.